what's up YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551, and I am back with a My 2 Cent Switch/gaming video for this week, where take a look at some of the stories that caught my attention and give you my thoughts and my opinion. And some of these are interesting, some of these are rumors, and some of these could sound a bit far-fetched, but are certainly not out of the realm of possibility. And then, of course, the late-breaking one that just came out is about Reggie Fils-Aime and him retiring. So I will get to that one. That will be at part 6, so I'll get to that one as soon as possible. But why don't we get started with our first My 2 Cent video. For this one, has to do with The Witcher 3 and rumors about it coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, supposedly I think about a month ago or so forth, there was rumors started to pop out that The Witcher 3 could be coming to the Nintendo Switch, and some cited supposedly a retail store, I think in Europe, that had a listing for that game for the Nintendo Switch. Now, some people thought it could have been an error at some point. I mean, excuse me, like an error, which isn't out of the realm of possibilities or anything like that. Well, apparently some more information may come out that could, I'm not saying this is an official, but could indicate that The Witcher 3 could be coming to the Nintendo Switch. And this was picked up also by the YouTuber by the name of Drake81. I'll have a link in the description for his video if you want to check that out and see if you agree with him or not. But basically, from an article from Nintendo Life and from several other sites, it points out, though, at the end of last year, there was a rumor that CD Projekt Red was porting The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt across the Switch. Although, if this rumor is true, whether they are porting it or letting, like, say, a port house handle it, who knows? If this rumor is true, though, I would say the most likely scenario would be a port house handling The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt for the Switch, if it's true. It all began with when a French retailer listed the Nintendo version of the game alongside Assassin's Creed 3, which has been officially confirmed during the most recent direct presentation, which is true. So we now know Assassin's Creed 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch. In the latest development, evidence of a Witcher game coming to the Switch is reported mounting as YouTube Drake81 has now discovered a GOG.com own CD Projekt Red that has posted a job listing for a GOG Galaxy software engineer, referencing multiple platforms including the Nintendo Switch, and they show a picture of it, though. It says, while the original retail listing referenced series, GOG.com and GOG Galaxy also play host to a number of other Witcher games, including Gwent, GWENT, the Witcher card game, and Thornbreaker, the Witcher Tale. GOG.com is described as a digital distribution platform with a curtailed selection of games, and GOG Galaxy is a game client designed for purchasing, playing, and updated games, as well as offering online support between gaming platforms. So this is kind of interesting to see this sort of rumor pops out, though. As far as whether Witcher 3 could come to the Nintendo Switch, just like that's my cat rubbing me. Hi, Rocky. Just like what I thought about when this rumor started popping out, though, it's not out of the realm of the possibility. After all, we've gotten graphically demanding games onto the Nintendo Switch. Games like Doom and Wolfenstein 2: The New Colossus, be it they had some compromises had to be made, aka the game running at 720p 30 frames per second, though. Oh, Rocky, come on. But I mean, at the same time, though, we've heard stories of how The Witcher 3 had a hard time running on the PS4 or Xbox One, although I didn't really have much issues with playing it on the PS4. So I'm still not sure about this rumor, and it is possible they could maybe not be working on The Witcher 3 for the Nintendo Switch. It could be the other games, the card game, to basically the Rocky, come on. Rocky, that's my cat. Sorry. to basically the what is basically called Thornbreaker, Witcher Tale, or anything like that. So I still want to wait until I hear official confirmation of whether or not this rumor is true or not, but I certainly would not rule it out entirely on this one. The idea of playing Witcher 3 on the go on the Nintendo Switch would be really, really interesting if this is true. Of course, I would say if the game was to be ported over to the Switch, obviously there would have to be certainly a lot of optimization, possibly optimization or compression to it, unless of course Nintendo has like a big file size for the cartridge. Though I do remember hearing that they were working on a 64-bit cartridge that was supposed to come out last year but got delayed till like this year or something like that. Who knows if that one's coming out or anything like that. So it's certainly interesting about this one. I mean, it would be interesting if they do bring The Witcher 3 over to Nintendo Switch, or they take the approach of streaming the game through like maybe like a streaming service, which I'm going to get to in part 5 of my video on this one, whether if they take that kind of approach. We saw Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey streamed for the Nintendo Switch, but only in Japan only. So my overall takeaway from this is that it's interesting rumor though, but just like when this one was first reported, until I hear an official confirmation that says otherwise, until we hear something that says that there is official confirmation that The Witcher 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, I'm treating this as nothing more than a rumor for now. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 2 of our My True Cent video, and this one has to do with what looks like the possibility, although not in a good way, of Kingdom Hearts 3 coming, if that will ever come to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our My True Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be looking at what seems to be, what this person from Game Informer says is true, the fact that Kingdom Hearts 3 is unlikely to happen on the Nintendo Switch. Now, recently Kingdom Hearts 3 just came out, and it seems to be doing very well. Just recently, the NPD, which I'll get to that part, recently showed the game at number 1 as being the best-selling game in January, and that certainly is good for a game that a lot of Kingdom Hearts fans have been waiting for quite some time. Well, there's always been the speculation that Kingdom Hearts 3 could maybe come to the Nintendo Switch, and it was kind of hinted back and forth, ranging from, the game runs on Unreal Engine 4, which supports Unreal Engine 4, to an interesting rumor saying that Nintendo was going to release a much powerful Nintendo Switch to run Kingdom Hearts 3 and all that stuff. I don't know if that's true or not. But apparently a comment made by a Game Informer, excuse me, an employee who works at Game Informer, says that it sounds unlikely. From an article on report from several articles, including one from from comicbooks.com, it writes that, quote, "Back in October, a rumor surfaced claiming that Square Enix wanted to bring Kingdom Hearts 3 to the Nintendo Switch, which makes sense, of course it would. Then earlier this month, the director of the action RPG, Tetsuya Nomura, Tetsyua Nomura, apologize if I'm not saying his name correctly, teased the possible to get the game on Switch, and such support would be considered potential after release of the PS4 and Xbox One version. That's all said, Game Informer senior editor Imran Khan, Imran Khan, apologize I'm not seeing his name, recently appeared on the Kind of Funny Game Daily Show, where he revealed some interesting tidbits about the topic. As you may know, Khan is known for being very privy to some inside Nintendo information that others aren't, and has reported on such information accuracy in the past. And according to Khan, the chance of Kingdom Hearts 3 will appear on the Nintendo Switch are slim. However, the HD re-release may be ported to the system in its place. Last I heard, there were talks between Nintendo and Square Enix about what they can do with Kingdom Hearts 3, said Com. It was deemed unforeseeable to get Kingdom Hearts 3 on the Nintendo Switch. According to Com, while the Switch supports Unreal Engine 4, which the game was made on, Kingdom Hearts 3 is said to be very demanding and could be put on the system without paring it down quite a bit. Further, while Khan notes he's unsure if the remaster will be worked on for the Switch, he believes that's probably what they'll settle on. Of course, all this should be taken with a grain of salt. While Khan has a history of having accurate information at scope, it's also equally possible that he has faulty or outdated information. In other words, just don't take this as an official confirmation, though. I'm not going to diss the editor of Game Informer, and I won't rule out the possibility that he could be right on this. That the fact that the game may be too demanding to come to Nintendo Switch, though. So I'm not going to rule out that he could be right on this, though. That said, he can also be wrong on this at the same time. And I said this with the Witcher 3 Switch when I talked about this earlier, and I've said this before many times, though. I know I'm sounding like a broken record and being a dead horse saying this constantly over and over again, but we've seen graphically demanding games come to the Nintendo Switch before, be it scale down, like lower resolution and at 30 frames per second. So I'm not going to rule out Kingdom Hearts 3 not coming to the Nintendo Switch or anything like that. I do believe it could be possible. I think they may have to adjust and make some changes to make the game function and work on the Nintendo Switch, even if it means lowering it to, say, 720p 30 frames per second. I know that may not be the most ideal choice for everybody, but it might be possible, and it might be Square Enix could have changed their mind, seeing how the Switch is certainly doing very well at this time, though. Even though it didn't reach the 20 million for their fiscal quarter, it so far has sold like about 32 million units worldwide. So, and obviously some developers are not ignoring this in any way. So it's possible Square Enix could be maybe reevaluating. Maybe they're looking at maybe a port house possibly to consider. Maybe let's go with them and see if they could port Kingdom Hearts 3 over to the Nintendo Switch. And it's also possible they could be bringing the other version, maybe Kingdom Hearts like I think 2.8 or like 2.0 or 1.0. I've lost track of the numbers so many times, and bring those over to the Nintendo Switch, sort of get and see how well those do. And if those do well, maybe they would reconsider and figure, you know what, maybe we should try bringing Kingdom Hearts 3 over to the Nintendo Switch. Maybe their fact that they're waiting until Nintendo releases that cartridge with that has 64 gigabytes in it rather than trying to do the 32 gigabytes or anything like that. That's a possibility. Or they could be trying to do take the streaming approach and maybe have Kingdom Hearts 3 play on the Nintendo Switch, but you'll have to stream it rather than getting a physical version. Personally, I would prefer the physical version, but that's my take on it. So overall, right now I'm still treating it as a rumor. It may not come to the Nintendo Switch, but I'm not ruling it out or anything like that. It is still a rumor at this time, so we'll have to wait and see if this turns out to be true or not. So, but for now, it doesn't sound like Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to the Nintendo Switch, at least at this time, though. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to a rumor that really has caught on. This one really caught on for the week, and that is one that a lot of people it's kind of surprised this one kind of took off, and that is the possibility of ScaleBound, a canceled Xbox One exclusive, could be coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 3 of our My 2 Cent video for this week. And for this one, we're going to be taking a look at a rumor that really caught a lot of people's attention this week, though. And that has to do with the possibility of ScaleBound coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, for those who aren't familiar, ScaleBound originally was a Xbox One exclusive developed by Platinum Game and was going to be published by Microsoft. And they've showed off videos during their Microsoft presentation. And I will say the game certainly looked interesting, and there were some people, at least according to some of their comments that they made, that they would purchase an Xbox One just to play that game, to be exact. And I know it sounds crazy, but there are people that will buy a system just to play one game. I mean, look at people would buy a Switch just to play Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, for crying out loud. However, there were supposedly issues with development. There were issues that the game wasn't running properly on the Xbox One, and it got to the conclusion that the project was pretty much pulled, canceled to be exact. Although Microsoft held on to the trademark for a bit before supposedly abandoning the trademark altogether. So what does this have to do with this rumor? Well, it turned out earlier this week, this week though, or reports came out that the person who talked about Kingdom Hearts 3 possibly not coming to the Nintendo Switch basically made a comment talking about how Nintendo, at least according to what his sources were saying, was reviving a franchise that was, or reviving a game that was supposedly reported to be dead and all that stuff. This led to several speculations from a lot of people. Some people thought it was basically Raven Blade. This was a game Aulx Studio was working on during the GameCube era before pulling the plug. Others speculated Project Hammer, a sort of a beat-em-up type game that was shown during the Wii era, but unfortunately there was a lot of development issues with that game, and there was certain drama and background between Nintendo software technology and Nintendo itself. Excuse me, and that game got shelved as well. Others thought maybe it was like one of the games that Nintendo was showing off was Nintendo Pennant Chaser. That was sort of a baseball game that they were developing during the GameCube era, and that one got canceled as well. To even some third-party ones, though. Some thought the idea of Mega Man Legends 3 being revived, that Nintendo would be funding that project. While we don't know if that's true or not, it certainly isn't out of the realm of possibility. Not to mention, Mega Man 11 and Mega Man X Collection did do very well from Capcom, so I will say the odds of Mega Man Legends 3 happening, or them reviving it, is certainly, the odds are still good, although we won't know for certain, but it's clear that Mega Man 11 did certainly well for Capcom and all. And then there was one that was sort of like completely left field, and that was ScaleBound, a game that was originally an Xbox One exclusive, that was basically Microsoft, as I said earlier, pulled the plug on. Now, many people thought that was a little bit far-fetched or a little bit crazy and all that stuff, until a report from Nintendo Insider came out, and the discovery of the trademark supposedly being abandoned, though. First, from the website JUSTIA trademark, though, I'll have a link in the description. It showed the ScaleBound trademark details, and it says under it, status 606 abandoned, no statement of use filed, though. And it looks like that the trademark hasn't been touched. As far as the Nintendo Insider report, according to what Nintendo Insiders is saying, and this was written by someone by the name of Alex Seedhouse, he said, well, January 9th, 2017, Microsoft Studios confirmed that after careful deliberation, it has come to the decision to end production for ScaleBound. It was yet another high-profile Xbox One exclusive that, along with Fable Legend, Microsoft has chose to pull the plug. The natural reaction was widespread disappointment. None more so than creator Hideki Kamiya if I'm saying the name correctly, apologize if I'm not, who long last had the chance to express the love that he once had for fantasy games in high school. After early excitement that the project was met when it was revealed on stage at E3 2014, ScaleBound abruptly had left fans with more questions than answer. However, we could be thankful that making Kamiya's dream a reality is far from over. Bear in mind, this is from this reporter, though. Whether you believe him or not, whether you believe this person or not, you can come to your conclusion. But according to what he is saying, quote, I have, and this is what he says, and quote, I have confidence in my source to report that it is my understanding that ScaleBound has been resurrected as a project to be released as a Nintendo Switch exclusive. Given Microsoft's previous involvement, it remains unclear to me whether development has completely rebooted from scratch or at least its ambitions scaled back, seeing as its now desire for the nimble but less powerful portable home console. Further to this, I believe ScaleBound is likely to be the game that thought to be dead that Nintendo revived, that Game Informer senior editor Imran Khan, if I'm saying this, I apologize if I'm not saying his name correctly, had hinted at a kind of funny games last week, although there's a chance he could have heard about a different project that would be resurrected. As far as, and he also says, quote, as far as I am aware of, the ScaleBound trademark was renewed but soon had to be abandoned thanks for Microsoft being unable to state what they would use of it. Ultimately, that has left the doors open for another publisher to step in, and it's part of an ongoing discussion around the project that Platinum Games could be working on for the Nintendo Switch. It was something that Nintendo expressed interest in. This report right here from Nintendo insiders, regardless of whether you believe it or not, kind of spread like wildfires, and everyone was sort of talking about this for a bit. Some have chimed in on this, such as, I believe, Liam Robinson, who thinks that it's unlikely this project is going to happen. He has a video on it, I'll have a link in the description, along with Project Hammer, to even a former employee at Platinum Games who doubts that this is the rumor, though. He writes from an article on Nintendo Life, but taken from a snapshot on which he basically posted this on his Twitter feed. He says, quote, and he blocks out the S word, but I'm going to say it anyway. He says, quote, shit, I don't know. I don't work there anymore, and I haven't talked to anyone about it, but I highly doubt this is this thing. So he weighed in on this, though. While it certainly is far-fetched of the idea of ScaleBound coming to the Nintendo Switch, and I wouldn't be shocked if it turns out to be that's not the case, it's not out of the realm of possibility, and there are at least maybe 3 things I could think of that make it sound like this could be true. Bear in mind, I'm saying could. I'm not saying it is, but it could be true. One, obviously, is the trademark is abandoned, so that means someone could pick up the trademark. And someone like Nintendo could do that. Bear in mind, Nintendo was the one that did fund Bayonetta 2 when no one else would, which brings me to my second thing. Barring Star Fox Zero, which I kind of blame Nintendo on with the whole issue with the Force motion control, Nintendo and Platinum have, so far their relationship has been pretty good so far. We've had games like The Wonderful 101, we've had Bayonetta 1 and 2, we know that Bayonetta 3 is in development, and hopefully we'll hear more of this soon. Hopefully they're not facing any development trouble like we saw with Metroid Prime 4, that's being rebooted from courtesy of Retro Studios. And of course, during a direct, they introduced a new IP called Astro Chain, if I'm saying the name correctly, that was shown off, and it's definitely one of my games. Looking forward to that one with Hideo Kamiya, and of course the folks who worked on Nier Automotive are helping out on this project as well. Not to mention, we also know that Microsoft and Nintendo have been getting along a little bit better than what's been going on lately, though. More of it in part 5, and I'm going to talk about that one. So to me, it's not out of the realm of possibility that ScaleBound could come to the Nintendo Switch. It's not out of the realm that Nintendo could fund this game, though. I mean, we've seen them fund games before in the past. I think the question is, if this rumor is true, and this is a big if it is true, then at what form and what form would ScaleBound be in? Will they be able to salvage what was originally developed for the Xbox One, or would they have to reboot the whole project and maybe make some changes to make it run on the Nintendo Switch? If this rumor is true, though, my money's is most likely they would have to start from scratch and make it work on the Nintendo Switch, if this rumor is true. So my overall takeaway from this is, though, it would be really, really interesting if it turns out that ScaleBound was that game that Nintendo is funding, resurrecting, and funding as a Switch exclusive. Again, it is still a rumor. It may not be true. It may not happen at all. I'm fully aware of that, though. But I can't, given Nintendo's history, given Nintendo's relationship with Platinum, given the trademark has been abandoned, and given Nintendo and Microsoft kind of cozying up together lately, it's certainly not out of the realm of possibilities. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 4, and this one has to do with the January 2019 NPD. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 4 of our My Choose Set video for this week, and for this one, we're going to be taking a look at the NPD, specifically January 2019. So I'm pretty sure you are aware this week the NPD releases their sales, and I will say, based on what I've read so far, it seems like if you work at Square Enix, Capcom, or Nintendo, you must be pretty happy with what you're seeing, with what you've read so far. So according to VG247.com, and again, articles linked in the description, it points out in terms of several games and how they did well in their charts, specifically their Pacific ones. As far as the hardware sales goes, according to what VG247 is saying, and at least what they got from the NPD, it says hardware sales for January 2019 declined 28% year over year, 278 million to 199 million. However, dollar sales were the second highest total achievement since January 2014, when sales reached 239 million. Nintendo Switch was the best-selling console for the month in both dollars and unit sales, and the only console to show year-on-year growth. According to unconfirmed figures which surfaced, this article was written on February 20th, so this was unconfirmed figures on February 19th. Switch moved 284k units compared to PlayStation 4's 195k and Xbox One 101k. As far as softwares, it seems as though Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 remakes obviously did well on the charts. So did New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, and of course Ace Combat 7: Skies Unknown. They said Kingdom Hearts 3 sales were 2.5 times that of the previous franchise best entry, 2006 Kingdom Hearts 2. This is the second month in history a Kingdom Hearts game has topped the bestseller charts. The Resident Evil 2 remake dollar sales were 2.8 times higher than the original title launched in January 1998. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe entering the chart at number 3. Launch dollar sales for New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe was more than 30% higher than New Super Mario Bros. U, which arrived on the Wii U in November 2012. And Ace Combat 7 Skies set a new franchise record with 80% increase in sales compared to October 27th Ace Combat 6 Fires of Liberation. In terms of January's top 2019 top 20 games, Kingdom Hearts 3 is at number 1. Resident Evil 2 Remake is at number 2, no pun intended. New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is at number 3. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is at number 4. No pun intended on that one. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is at number 5. Red Dead Redemption 2 at number 6. Ace Combat 7 Skies Unknown at number 7. NBA 2K19 at number 8. Mario Kart 8 at number 9. Grand Theft Auto 5 at number 10. It's now become the Skyrim. Okay, Grand Theft Auto 5 is now the new Skyrim in a way. That it never dies. That thing's going to be on the chart for a while. Number 11, Madden NFL 19. Number 12, Tales of Vesperia entered in on the list. So that's very nice that it managed to make its way onto the top 20. Maybe not the top 10, that would be great, but still, nice that it's entered in there. Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 13. Battlefield 5 at number 14. Super Mario Party at number 15. Minecraft at number 16. Assassin's Creed Odyssey at number 17. Marvel Spider-Man at number 18. FIFA 19 at number 19. And Super Mario Odyssey at number 20. So about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of Nintendo's games made it into January's top 20 games. So not bad for Nintendo though. Marvel Spider-Man still holding up, so obviously Sony has to be happy with that, and I'm sure Nintendo's also happy that New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is certainly doing well at number 3. Over at the top 10 Xbox One games, the only first-party game on that list is Sea of Thieves at number 6. Though otherwise, Resident Evil 2 Remake was the number 1 best-selling game on the Xbox One, with Kingdom Hearts 3 at number 2. Over on the top PlayStation games, top PS4 games, it seems Marvel Spider-Man, like the Xbox One, Marvel Spider-Man is the only first-party game on the top 10 PlayStation 4 games for January 2019. Otherwise, in sort of a bit of a reversal from the Xbox One games, the top 10 of 2019, Kingdom Hearts 3 was the number 1 game, with Resident Evil 2 Remake at number 2. Over at the Nintendo Switch, physical only, since Nintendo doesn't count digital sales, which I think that's kind of odd and all that stuff. For the top 10 Nintendo Switch games for January 2019, interestingly enough, Tales of Vesperia entered in at number 10. So it's nice to see that there are Switch owners definitely picking up that game. I thought it was definitely a fun RPG and all that stuff. Otherwise, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe is at number 1, with Super Smash Bros. Ultimate at number 2, Mario Kart 8 at number 3, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at number 4, Super Mario Party at number 5, Super Mario Odyssey at number 6, number 7, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu, number 8, Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, and at number 9, Splatoon 2. I already told you about number 10, Tales of Vesperia. So, in terms of the takeaway on this list though, couple of things. One, I'm pleased to see that Tales of Vesperia has made it onto the list though. I'm glad the game certainly is getting the attention it needs, even if it's not high on the list. So, but still, at number 12 at the best, not bad for a game like that. At number 12 as the top 20 games of 2019, or at number 10 on the Nintendo Switch title. Obviously, Capcom and Square Enix must be happy because Kingdom Hearts 3 and Resident Evil 2 Remake obviously did very well for them. So it's clear that that's good news for them. And hopefully, for Resident Evil 2 Remake doing very well, hopefully this means a remake of Resident Evil 3 and Code Veronica is certainly in the cards as well. I would like to see that happen too. Seeing New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe do very well is very nice for a game that was originally ported to the Wii U back in 2012. Do very well is certainly very interesting though. Even though I prefer they would have created a whole new Super Mario game designed for the Nintendo Switch, though it's still nice to see this game is certainly getting the attention it is. And it's obviously clear for a game like this and how other Wii U ports made it over to the Switch, it seems though we're going to be seeing more Wii U ports coming to the Nintendo Switch. Don't be surprised if you see more of that. As for the Switch, certainly is doing very well for Nintendo. Obviously, it was the best-selling console of the month, and The Switch Pro controller was January's best-selling accessory, with dollar sales increasing 40% year over year. So it's really good and encouraging to see the Switch doing very well. But I am curious to see how the Switch is going to do in the long run, especially when we know that Sony will release the PlayStation 5. It will be very interesting to see what position, and Microsoft released Xbox Scarlet, whatever they're going to call it, what position will the Switch still be in? Will the Switch still be in a good position? Will it be in a bad position? And by the time the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet come out, will Nintendo at that point release a revised version of the Nintendo Switch? I'm not sure if they're going to do... I don't buy the Switch Mini or the dockless Switch because I think that would defeat the whole purpose of the Nintendo Switch. But if a revised version is going to happen, and I believe Nintendo will probably do a revised version, I suspect more than likely they will use a different system, SoC system on a chip, if I'm saying the name correctly. Since Nintendo and Nvidia have this partnership that lasts for 2 decades, maybe they'll use, say, like the Pascal chip in the Nintendo Switch. Maybe they'll use Xavier. Maybe they'll use something from another chipset, from the Tegra X1 or X2 or X3. Or maybe design a brand new chip design that has not been used before, that Nvidia designs, that incorporates certain elements. So it's very interesting to see where the Switch will be by the time the PS5 and Xbox Scarlet comes out. But overall, for now, obviously, Square Enix must be happy with Kingdom Hearts 3, where that is. Capcom's got to be happy with Resident Evil 2 Remake, and Nintendo has to be happy with the fact that the Switch became the best-selling system in January 2019. Not to mention, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe certainly has done very well. So, very interesting NPD for 2019. It'll be interesting to see when February comes out. No, excuse me. So, overall, if you work for Square Enix or Capcom or Nintendo, you must be really happy with what the NPD has came out with. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to get to part 5, and this one has to do with a rumor that's starting to pick up that not only Xbox Live, but we could be seeing something like Xbox Game Pass coming to the Nintendo Switch. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 5 of our My True Scent video, and for this one we're going to be taking a look at another interesting rumor popping up about Microsoft and Sony. So as some of you may have been aware, though, there was a rumor that came out, I think last month or maybe like a couple of weeks ago, that was reported that Microsoft was planning to show off something at GDC before it was taken down, that the fact that they could be bringing Xbox Live to the Nintendo Switch. And that caught a lot of people's attention, and many thought that this could have maybe opened the door to the idea that we could see something like Xbox Gaming Pass coming to the Nintendo Switch. Well, it seems as though this rumor about the possibility of something like that could be happening, though. From an article on Game Informer, link will be in the description, and a video from Direct Feed Gaming that reported on this, it's reported that, quote, according to a report from outlet Direct Feed Games, an outlet that has a strong track record for rumors, especially centering around Nintendo, Microsoft and Nintendo are about to get together in a big way in the near future. Not only will some of Microsoft's games find their way to the Switch, but it looks like the entire Game Pass library might arrive via the magic of streaming. The report states that Microsoft is looking into publishing some of their own categories to the Switch in the form of actual ports. There is no way strange for Microsoft, who had dabbed in things like lending out Rare for games on Nintendo systems and developing and publishing games on Nintendo's consoles, such as Minecraft. Microsoft's own developers like Ninja Theory and Obsidian are still self-publishing their games on the Switch and other systems as well. The game specifically mentioned by the direct feed is ORI and the Blind Forest, a crown jewel in Microsoft's lower key publishing initiative. And additionally, the report goes on to say that Microsoft will be leveraging their announced Project xCloud streaming service to bring Xbox One games to the Switch. While the Switch can't natively play, as hypothetical example Gear 5, it could stream it over the internet. This will be done through Game Pass, which allows players to subscribe to a service to access a Netflix-style library of games. In talking with our own source, it has been suggested that the announcement of Game Pass on Switch could come as soon as this year. This isn't surprising, as Microsoft has been eager to expand Game Pass out as far as can, and now see plans to revamp it for PC. Project xCloud is also a means to an end to get people who don't own an Xbox product to spend money on Xbox service, making the Switch a perfect verdict, VECTOR, apologize I'm not saying correctly, for it. For Nintendo, it means getting an unforeseeable it means games that are unforeseeable on the console due to hardware limitation can come to the Switch in some form and provide additional value to them. This particular avenue is not new to Nintendo, which has been experimenting using cloud service as a way to play technology demanding games for a few months now in Japan. Games like Resident Evil 7 and Assassin's Creed Odyssey have Switch ports in Japan, streaming a special version from a local server. Game Pass on the Switch would be no different. We speculate the possibility of what a Microsoft and Nintendo friendship can mean. They have a link on it though. This would be really, really interesting if this happens. The idea of something like this, I'm kind of mixed on the idea of Microsoft bringing their Game Pass to the Switch. I'm not completely against the idea, but the whole idea of streaming, I'll be honest with you, I'm more of a person who prefers the physical copy than having to do the streaming though, although it's becoming clearer and clearer that we are reaching a point where digital distribution will be the new norm. And it does, on one hand, it does open up the idea that there are games that are graphically demanding that may not be able to make it onto the Switch. This could be a good alternative to it, regardless if the rumors about, like The Witcher 3 isn't true or anything like that. If they can't put in the cartridge, they could do the streaming way, or Kingdom Hearts 3 to be exact. So it certainly is interesting on this though. So it could work though, but I do have some questions about like how big of a internet connection do you need to have these games, and could you save your game? Like, could you like save do you have to save it? How do you save it and all that stuff? So I'm very curious to see how this would work if this is true. And I've heard, hearing that Orin and the Blind Forest could come to Nintendo Switch is interesting. They could port that over. I mean, I've heard rumors that Cuphead could be coming to the Nintendo Switch as well. And so the idea of playing something like Halo or Gears or Forza Horizon on the Switch is certainly interesting, and it would be really interesting to see how Nintendo would allow this to happen and all that. Now, does this mean that Nintendo games will appear on the Xbox or anything like that? I'm not 100% sure about that, though. Knowing Nintendo, they have a history of being very protective of their IPs and all that stuff. Especially if you look at their history, especially with YouTube, although now they have sort of loosen up a little bit and change some of that policy as well, which I think is a good thing and all that stuff. So I'm not sure if this means that Nintendo games are going to appear on something like, say, the Xbox or anything like that, although I'm sure there are some people that find ways, to emulate and do all that stuff and all that. So, but the idea of Microsoft, like a Gears or a Halo on a Nintendo Switch, it certainly is very interesting, and it'll be really interesting to see if the entire Game Pass library does come onto the Nintendo Switch, or if this Xbox app does happen, or if basically there's going to be limited of what games appear onto the Nintendo Switch. So overall, have to wait and see if this rumor turns out to be true, but I'm very, very curious. And this would be really interesting going forward, especially with the upcoming release of systems like the Xbox Scarlet, which is rumored to have one that plays physical media and one that's streaming, to when the PlayStation 5 comes out. So I'm very curious to see how this plays out, though. I'm kind of mixed of the idea of streaming a game on a console, but I'm willing to take a look at it, to be exact. And who knows? If this is true and the Xbox Live rumor is true, it could be an answer to Nintendo's online service, which, while the idea of paying $20 for a whole year doesn't sound so bad, let's just say its reputation has not been the best, from like the slow drip of NES games to the whole idea of voice chat through like your phone and all that stuff. So a little bit mixed on that one, but I'm very curious to see how this plays out. So hopefully we'll find out more. We'll see if this rumor is true, but like I said, overall, I am a little curious about this. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we're going to get to part 6, and this one has to do with the surprise announcement that Reggie Fils-Aime has made. So we'll take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with our sixth and final part of our My 2 Cent video. And for this one, we're going to be talking about Reggie Fils-Aime and the surprise announcement that a lot of Nintendo fans were kind of surprised, including some comments that are saying like, my body was not ready for this and all. Now, for the last 15 years, Reggie Fils-Aime has been sort of the face of Nintendo. Most of us will remember when he made an appearance, I believe it was at the 2004 E3 presentation, when Reggie went on the stage saying, my name is Reggie Fils-Aime, I'm about taking names, and I'm about kicking ass, and all that stuff. And that caught a lot of people's attention. Not to mention his appearance on Directs, to him being on, the late night with Jimmy Fallon, showing off new games and so forth. Excuse me, whether it's games, for the Wii U, to when he, in 2016, when they showed off the Nintendo Switch and so forth. So it was really shocking and surprising to hear that Reggie Fils-Aime was retiring basically after 15 years at Nintendo. Several articles posted on Game Astuda, Gamastura, apologize if I say the name correctly though. It says, Reggie Fils-Aime is stepping down from his post at President and Chief Operating Officer of Nintendo of America after 13 years in those roles and over 15 years with the company as a whole. Doug Bowser, the company's current SVP of Sales and Marketing, has been tapped to take over for Fils-Aime as the President of Nintendo America following his official retirement on April 15th. Nintendo owns a part of my heart forever, says Fils-Aime in a statement. It is a part that is filled with gratitude for the incredible talented people I've worked with, for the opportunity to represent such a wonderful brand, and for most of all, to feel like a member of the world's most positive and enduring gamer community. As I look forward to departing in both good health and good humor, this is not game over for me, but instead leveling up with more times with my wife, family, and friends. Fils-Aime got his start with Nintendo America back in 2003 in the very same role that Bowser, which now it's come to mean that Bowser has taken over Nintendo, now vacates to take on the position of president. After just 3 years with the company, he stepped into the role of president and COO, a position he held through the lifetime of several Nintendo systems like the DS, Wii, 3DS, not to mention Wii U, and most recently the Nintendo Switch. A press release press release from the company specifically called out strong and affordable personality, a trait that endured him with both the industry and Nintendo fan base. Bowser, meanwhile, started with the company in mid-2015 as the VP of Sales and a year later, the SVP of Sales and Marketing. He notably led the company's marketing effort for the Nintendo Switch in the West, a system that has sold 32 million units since its early 2017 release. So, to me, it was very surprising to hear that Reggie Fils-Aime is retiring from Nintendo of America. But at the same time, I think a lot of us, some of us though, I could say, knew that at some point this day was going to happen. That he was going to probably step down at some point, though. And honestly, though, I did like Reggie. I did like his personality and so forth. While I may not agree with every decision he made as president of Nintendo of America, though, I do have respect for him as a Nintendo fan and what he contributed to Nintendo as well, especially from the memes to, the Reginator and so forth. So I will say, for Reggie Fils-Aime, as a longtime Nintendo fan, as someone who's been gaming on Nintendo systems since the 80s, I would like to say thank you for the 15 years at working at Nintendo of America and what you contributed, though. I may not agree with every decision you made, but I do appreciate what you've done for Nintendo of America. I can see my cat in the background as well. Though, here's to hoping whatever life takes you is for good and so forth. And as for Doug Bowser, I will give him the benefit of the doubt, and I want to give him a chance to see what he is capable of and what he can do as well. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a lot of memes about the last name Bowser working at Nintendo and so forth. So overall, I just want to say, Reggie, thank you for your time at Nintendo, and I salute you for basically what you contributed to Nintendo and its fan base, though. And we're looking forward to see whatever life throws at you, and Doug Bowser will like to see what he can contribute to Nintendo, and of course Nintendo of America as well. Okay, this concludes this My 2 Cent video for this week, and again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about this rumor about possibly what looks like we could see The Witcher 3 come to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this rumor is true? Do you think it's possible The Witcher 3 could be coming to the Nintendo Switch? Or do you believe this is unlikely to happen? What are your thoughts about the comments made that it's unlikely that Kingdom Hearts 3 may not be coming to the Nintendo Switch at all? Do you think this is accurate? Do you think the game's too demanding to come to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think what the Game Informer employee saying is inaccurate? Do you think it's possible Square Enix could bring the game over? Do you think they'll port it? Do you think they'll scale it down? Do you think they'll stream it instead? What are your thoughts about the idea of ScaleBound, the possibility that ScaleBound coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think it's far-fetched? Do you think it's unlikely to happen? Do you think this is the game that Nintendo could be reviving from the dead? Do you think it's not out of the realm of possibility that ScaleBound could be coming to the Nintendo Switch? And what are your thoughts about the January 2019 NPD sales? Were these the numbers, or were these the games that did well? Were you expecting these to do well? Were you not expecting them to do well? Do you think with Resident Evil 2, do you think this opens the door to a Resident Evil 3 remake or Code Veronica remake? Do you think with the Switch doing this well, do you think we're going to see more and more developers consider, you know what, let's try to bring our games over to the Nintendo Switch? What are your thoughts about the possibility that Xbox Game Pass or Xbox app could be coming to the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this is a good thing? Do you think this is a bad thing? Do you think this could be the answer of maybe games that are too graphically demanding to come onto the Nintendo Switch? Do you think this is a good alternative, to be exact? And what are your thoughts about Reggie Fils-Aime retiring? Are you shocked by this? Are you not shocked by this? Are you sad that he is Leaving Nintendo though, do you have confidence that Doug Bowser will do very well over at Nintendo of America? Do you agree with what I said in this video? Do you disagree? Do you have a difference of opinion? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think, and I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it, and I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I do. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links in the description of this video. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that will be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day then. Bye!